Hi there. Welcome back to Ask Amy. I have a question today from Johanna. So, Johanna writes, will my sleeping patterns ever return to normal again? Will I be able to stop myself from focusing on wanting to sleep? I'm currently on anxiety and antidepressant medication, but I still struggle with my sleep because I've been using some medication for more than 2 months. I don't know if insomnia is part of its withdrawal symptoms. For how long can a person's body function without sleep? So, Joanna, I'm coming to you tired myself from similar issues, not comparing mine to yours, but also having some sleep issues over here. Um, a lot of your questions, like, will they return to normal? Like, how long can you function? Are the drugs playing a role? I don't know. You have to ask your doctor that stuff. Preferably your doctor, probably not Google, although you could probably get some very basic information on Google. Uh, of course, always caution that because I Googled something about my sleep today and saw all kinds of stuff I didn't really want to see. That's just how it works, right? So sometimes you find what you want to find and it's helpful, and sometimes you have to wade through all kinds of stuff that isn't helpful. So talk to your doctor about the medication and how that might be playing a role. But I guess what I feel kind of called to share, I mean, and speak to in your question especially, is I can just feel, your exhaustion and desperation, and I get it. And when you say, will I be able to stop myself from focusing on wanting to sleep? And your mind is thinking, you're asking, when is this going to return to normal? I guess I just want to sort of pull this out and remind you and just kind of put a little attention here that I don't see how we can ever stop ourselves from focusing on anything because I don't know that we're focusing on it. When you're tired, does your attention get drawn to sleep? Yeah. Yeah, it might. And it might not. And it might not. So that's important too. This isn't a feature, a necessary part of being tired. Sometimes we're really tired and our mind is on it and it looks like a major problem we need to solve. Other times, your body can be tired and it doesn't look like a problem you need to solve, and there's not a lot of focus on it. Sometimes we can feel really exhausted and it's really uncomfortable, and other times we can feel really exhausted and it just isn't so uncomfortable. So, I don't know that you can stop yourself from focusing on it or from stop your mind from wanting to get this back to normal. That's how a mind talks. There was another time, another place where this was right. Right now it's wrong. It shouldn't be happening this way, and you have to get back to the right side of things. That's how a mind talks. But I really want you to see, Joanna, that's your mind doing its absolute best to do its job, to get you to some place. It's never okay here. Even with good rest, it'd be something else, right? Your mind would be talking about something else. So it's just a mind doing its job when it's thinking about back to normal and controlling and why is this showing up. And I would love for you to get a deeper feel for how even when your mind is going there, that's just a mind doing what a mind does. And even when you don't have good sleep, again, it's not that it might not feel uncomfortable at times. I'm sure it will. But even without good sleep, there's a lot of moments when it's not as bad as it was a minute ago, where it's maybe not bad at all, maybe it's not on your mind at all, where even with no sleep you get a burst of energy and you're okay. And this is something I saw for myself recently around this too. I was really curious about, why does it even bother me to be tired? Like, why does that even look like a thing? When is it really frustrating to be tired, and when is it not that big a deal? And again, I'm just sharing this. You just see what resonates with you. But what I saw about this for myself is the more I'm trying to mentally engage, and I don't even mean working or doing engaging tasks, even just sitting around in my own head, thinking about things, remembering things, projecting things, all that stuff a mind will love to do. The more there's intellect running and there's me kind of in it, paying attention, that's what's affected by not a lot of sleep. At least it feels like, I don't know that again medically or physically. I'm just saying for me, and I'm guessing for many people, that's the part of being really tired that's impacted, right? Is our we can't focus and our mind's fuzzy and then our bodies feels a certain way and then our mind doesn't like that. So there's all of that going on. But what I also saw is when I look to that space before intellect, which I just happen to do regularly anyway, when I'm feeling for that space before a thought shows up, before a thought's formed, when I'm feeling for that space in between, that space in between all the stories and the words, it doesn't matter if I'm tired or not. Tired has nothing to do with that. In fact, in some ways, it makes it easier. It dulls my intellect, right? Which again, can be very frustrating if it's a work day and you have a million things you're wanting to get done. But it isn't inherently horrible. It isn't inherently painful. And in fact, it can be sort of nice. It sort of dulls everything and feels a little dreamlike here in this waking day, you know? And although we might have a habit, our mind might have a habit of saying, I don't like this feeling, be curious about that. Lean into that feeling, welcome it in, look at it, like watch how it moves. Is it really that bad? And again, there's no right or wrong answer. There may be moments where you say, yes, it really is that bad. I'm exhausted and I hate this. And you might surprise yourself. There might be moments where it isn't that bad. And most likely, you'll see it ebb and flow. And it's not all dependent on sleep. You'll see it ebb and flow all the time. So again, I don't know when your sleep will restore. I don't know anything about the medication you're on. I can't tell you any of that, but I do really want to encourage you to see if you can feel into how maybe this is okay too. Maybe all feelings are okay, even exhaustion, even mental fuzziness, even feeling really tired, because what I just know about experience is we just tend to resist it like crazy. And when we resist it like crazy, it lasts longer and it's harder and it's painful. And then it builds up this story that experience is the problem. And it's not. There's nothing wrong with being tired. And I will say, know that our body is nature, just like anything else in nature. There is so much working in favor of everything just humming along. Now, that doesn't mean your sleep's going to restore on this date in the future. I have no idea. But it always brings me comfort too, to know that, okay, the more I relax, nature just restores and takes over. It's not about us needing to get to the bottom of it and figure it out. And that doesn't mean, again, you don't talk to your doctor or look into some things. Do all that if that makes sense. But ultimately, when we leave nature alone, nature just knows what to do. And this is that. That's all this is, So the more we can feel relaxed and at ease with whatever's happening with sleep, even when you don't like it, again, knowing, okay, there's a momentum here in favor of working it out. When my body needs sleep, it's doing everything it can to get some of that sleep. It might not be a perfect 8 hours. It might not be a perfect 3 hours. But your body is working to do that because that's just how it works. I don't know. I find that really takes a lot of the pressure off. So thanks for sending your question. Came at a good day for me too. I hope it's helpful. I hope it's helpful to others because I know a lot of people struggle with sleep issues. So thanks, Johanna. Thanks everyone for listening. I'll see you next week.